Atlas Fallen is Deck 13's newest release onto the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series consoles, and the PC. Sadly, this is not a Nintendo Switch release, but it's understandable as to why that is, and in this review, I hope to convey why I found it to be such an interesting surprise hit to my already 2023 stacked lineup of standout titles. I would also like to thank Focus Entertainment for providing me with a review copy on the PlayStation 5 and the footage you're seeing here today. Story-wise, the world is in a bad shape. The gods seemingly have punished the people, and they're in desperation, hunger, death, and plenty of horrors await any and all who oppose them. In the midst of these god wars, if you will, magical essence is collected by the unnamed to present them to the sun god in the hopes to appease them. Obviously, this plan is not working out very well, so many factions are fighting for the best way to deal with the ongoing situation, as people are forced to mine and work to the bone in search for this essence. You as a player happen to be one of the many in a caravan transporting said essence into the capital city, where almost by mere luck you stumble across a magical gauntlet. This gives you the access and essentially the freedom to traverse the world and begin to unshackle from the reins holding you back, while still understanding that there's plenty of work ahead of you. In typical open world fashion, you'll find places to visit, plenty of people to talk to, quests to undertake, challenges to seek, which are all also considered side content on top of the main story. None of these are ever forced on you, the player, but the game does a decent job inching you towards them, as basically they provide with good rewards most of the time. Many of which come in the form of materials, new armor sets, and the all-important essence stones, which I'll be talking about in a minute. Which is all to say the side content is plentiful, and most of the time it does provide a decent reward. Because the world is so vast, traversal plays a massive role in where your character can jump, double jump, air dash, and glide in the sands themselves, continually gaining momentum as you make your way from one point to another, with the obvious stop when essentially you're going to pick up and gather materials, chase down a monster to collect a collectible item, or of course engage with a combat encounter. Combat is easily the highlight of the package, though it's certainly what kept me interested in spending more time with this game. It all starts with momentum, which builds up upon every strike your character has. The more you hit your enemies, the more momentum you gain. As you gain momentum, more active abilities become available to you from the two pre-selected weapons. It's a nice dance to fill out your bar to a certain point to do a skill that you love to punish monsters with, to then use the shatter ability and blow all of it on a massive strike that breaks a monster apart. That give and take on top of the strategy and reading monster movements really is something exciting that I hope people do get to enjoy. Weapons come in 3 flavors, but basically split off in their own basic ways. You have a big hammer / axe / scythe for big meaty combos, a pair of daggers on chains which are considered whips, and lastly hand fist weapons of varied sorted and types. You can pre-select 2 of these, but like I said before, they can branch off in depending the essence stones that you have equipped on them. Different combos will essentially provide different weapons. So you never really are fighting, with example, for just like the hammer. You may want to be able to focus on like using essence stones for the axe and equip any of those for specific stones. As far as the essence stones are concerned, they are the glue that binds all of the combat together. Basically, you have a pool of over 100 different obtainable passives, debuffs, buffs, and attacks and skills to collect that it can all mix with the aforementioned weapons, allowing you to mix up combos, and your momentum gauge builds up. Maybe you can focus early on doing like a debuff on a certain enemy, and then a big flashy attack the deeper you get into fights. Or maybe you just want to focus on dodging and parrying to punish enemy attacks. The combat system allows you to basically, based off of the essence stones you have equipped, to do whatever it is that you want. However, there's still basic bread and butter attacks on top of all of this for each one of the weapons. On top of that, you also have a dash and a dedicated dodge button, so you can always play defensive if you so desire. One of the biggest surprises to me was enemy variety. especially in the big bosses and notorious creatures you encounter. While they not only drop better rewards, obviously, they have breakable body parts, or parts that you wanted to use the aforementioned shatter attack on. This nets you bigger drops, and of course, it akens back to my beloved franchises, Monster Hunter. Atlas Fallen is one of those games that does a lot of things right, but it's not without any flaws. Performance on the PlayStation 5 was spotty at times, nothing small but like small frames that you'll notice during major encounters. Then I couldn't help to notice the lack of polish also in certain more calm areas while you're exploring out in the town or talking to NPCs. But the start of the show is the exploration, traversal, and combat in typical open world fashion, and in that sense, the game delivers with the occasional odd moment here or there. Nintendo Sphere gives Atlas Fallen on the PlayStation 5 a 7.5 out of 10. If you're brand new to my channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, hit the bell to receive notifications when the videos go up, and as always, thank you so much for watching. See ya!